Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Legacy Gambit. Today, we have decided to go back to our Learning Legacy videos because, if you might have noticed, this past weekend we had the showcase and 2 Moon Stompy decks were in the top 8. Shout out to XJCloud and to Maxtortion. They have published a bunch of videos already, which we will link in the description below, about how they did, the deck they played. But I also wanted to recognise today that as we just did Moon Stompy last week and we made some mistakes doing it, I actually wanted to present some of the matches I've played offline and use it as an opportunity as a learning experience, because I feel that whilst XJ and Max are exceptional Magic players, they know how to work their way around an Ancient Tomb, some of you might be like, but Sahara, I don't necessarily understand the sequencing and playing to your outs and things like that. So today it's going to be a bit of a learning video. I'm going to put my heart on my sleeve again. Sarah's going to tell me how I should be attacking more, but we're going to have a good time. So we're going to do a game against Painter and a game against Doomsday. If we have time, but these 3 matchups are super interesting. They're very kind of different in the way that they approached playing the deck. And there will be an occurring theme. Type in the comments what you think that occurring theme is. So with that, let's go into the games and show you what we're up to. Here for the first game, we are against Painter. It is game 3. I am on the play. Game 1, I managed to put an early Blood Moon down and close out the game with the hand. They just didn't do anything. And then game 2, we had a little bit of back and forth, and then I just died to the combo by weldering in a Painter Servant with a Grindstone trigger on the stack, and I was very dead. It was not fun. But we're in game 3. I won the die roll. Let's kick things off. So let's start off with what I kept. So this is my opening hand.
Okay.
So
all right. Right, I'm just gonna get this out of the way. So me and Sahar probably have quite different match review processes.
Correct.
For me, I look at all of my mulligans under a fine-tooth comb. So I'm gonna throw 4 questions at you.
Throw some questions
immediately.
At me. Go on.
All right. Number 1. Let's assume you're gonna keep whatever this is.
Yeah.
Right? What is your default first 3 turns of the game? And are those turns even good?
Are they even good?
That's the first question. So
yep. So looking at this hand, my goal is to get an early ring as quickly as possible. That's kind of my first turn is probably going to be Ancient Tomb go. And then play the other Ancient Tomb and play 1 ring. If I think my opponent's on Saga, like the Saga plan in Painter, then I can definitely go Cavern on Human to get rid of Magus of the Moon. I am aware that I do not have any red mana, but 1 ring, I feel like against Painter, you can just sort of, you're generating enough cards that this will just win the game on its own, which has kind of been my experience with playing the version. This is an older version that's not the showcase list. We will get to that in a future episode, future video. And yeah, so my goal here is just to play 1 ring as quickly as possible, which in this case is turn 2.
Okay, so is that kind of always the priority? How do you... Because in my mind, when you say 1 ring on turn 2,
yeah,
I go, that's not a lot of immediate pressure, which usually worries me. Just I feel often if you give Painter time, bad things happen. Has that not been your experience?
So folks, I will address this at the start of the video as well, that this is my when I was testing, this has been my first real foray into playing ring in mono red. So I am still trying to kind of evaluate how good ring is. I feel like in the games I have played with ring, in a few versions of Moon Stompy, that I feel like this card just generates you so much more cards that you will find every answer you want, you will find every threat that you want. So having ring early means that you just have card quantity. You're just okay, I can just work through it. But yes, the lack of pressure here is, even then, if I felt like my opponent was trying to do a combo start, we can still play something like Legion Warboss, I could put Cavern on Goblin, and attack on turn 2. I definitely considered mulliganing this hand, 100%. But I think that One Ring, I think I evaluated the power of One Ring, which is why I kept this hand. But I 100% thought about, you know, mulliganing this and thinking about, well, what is it is important here? And I think the overwhelming advantage of Ring gives you kind of tipped me over the edge. But again,
yeah, I think like the fact that you already have one of your removal spells kind of tips that to more being the case.
Correct.
I'm often like afraid, like from the painter side, if I get a couple turns to set up, I'm usually like, ooh, okay, we can relax into this.
Exactly.
Right? Though One Ring does cause some problems. Though I have to ask a question about the deck list.
Yes.
What is kind of like the rest of the artifacts in this build?
So this was a list so this is not the showcase list. This was a list I was testing. That was a bit more in on the artifact synergy and utilizing Broadside Bombardiers and got True Soul Zealot, which is so I had One Rings, I had Unlicensed Hearts, Chalice of the Void, but I also had Lotus Petals and Great Furnaces, kind of taking inspiration from Painter a little bit of like, well, I can just fling these a bit more. Hence why we have Cavernous Souls. This is my last ditch attempt at making like a hybrid deck of the old Sticker Goblin deck. This was like my final ditch attempt to see if it was actually worth kind of reviving and keeping. And folks, you'll be probably not surprised that I have pivoted off this version.
So I was going to say, have you kept those in?
I have
in the post-board games.
In the post-board games, I think I trimmed a couple of the Lotus Petals, but most of my acceleration is hit. So I was worried about Welder. I am the Welder thing is not something to be shied about. But I think that having removal, I think I have I had some Furies, some Fire Confluences. I had ways of dealing with, you know, Welder and sort of getting stuff done. So, but yes,
as long as you're aware of it, that's kind of the big thing.
Exactly.
Okay.
So we keep this hand, and I go, you know, Ancient Tomb go. It's all fairly kind of standard. My opponent leads on Zakenzen, Lotus Petal. I think they play a Fable of Midbreaker. Yes. Okay. So fairly, I was like, okay, this is fine. I would like a red source. We don't draw it, and we're like, okay, well, let's just play One Ring. One thing I'll say here, when I play One Ring, I am all in on this ring now. I'm going to say this at the start. This is going to be a common theme throughout this video, is I am all in on this ring. This ring has to, like, work magic, because right now my hand is close to uncastable. I mean, I can cast my creatures, but I can't cast my removal.
Yeah, but it's also taking so much damage, which makes being all in on ring scarier.
Exactly.
Right?
So One Ring management here, folks, is going to be a common theme of the video. So we play ring. This is something I'm going to stop as well quickly here. I learnt this subsequently with playing One Ring. Is I do the thing where I do it on end step, similar to kind of like fetching on end step. And what I ought to have done I could have, if I wanted to get rid of this Goblin Shaman, is played ring, and if I have a Simian Spirit Guide, I can Simian Spirit Guide get rid of this token. Yeah. But I didn't give myself this opportunity to do that, and now on reflection, I would have done that. I would have not. Yeah. I would have just done that. So I'm saying that now. This is just me kind of flagging it over. So opponent discards a Pyroblast, makes sense. I'm always surprised they keep it in, but I know why you keep it in. And honestly, I don't feel so bad right now because opponent is like not got that much. They've got cards, but they have no mana, so I'm feeling okay. Play Saga. I'm like, okay, we have Magus of the Moon for this. We draw. We draw Unlicensed Hearse. Sarah can now see my hand. We just have to move it because I have recorded this rather than put some magic online. So now we have a bunch of options, Sarah. We have access to 6 mana at our disposal. I think. Let's see what I do first. Oh, do you want to just?
No.
Let's.
I think we have to sit here and be boring.
Okay, let's be boring.
So if I was doing this the way I've been prepping for Pioneer season,
yep,
I would literally sit here and go through every single variation. Now, I'm going to assume you don't want to do that.
Let's go with what is like the most, what makes the best use of our mana. What we have options available to us. What is the problem? So there's one part of me is like, I can play Cavern on human and deal with this Urza Saga, because that Urza Saga might kill me. There is another world where I play both my goblins, where I Cavern on Goblin, play Bomber, play Legion Warboss, and then the 1/1 that attacks, I kill the Fable token, and then I'm representing a bunch of damage the following turn. And I think, on retrospect, I think I would have preferred the Vroom Zoom version, but then I have to deal with a saga.
So we're gonna ask a couple questions.
Ask away.
The first point is that your opponent only discarded 1 card to Fable.
That is correct. They discarded the Pirate.
Right? And yet they did nothing on their turn. So you have to ask the question, what cards are in your hand that you want to keep them, but you passed and did nothing?
Removal.
Yeah. So that's like a big part of it, right? Yeah. So there's removal is one. There are like other things, right? So no, actually there isn't. It
is just in game 2 I had seen a Braid and Lightning Bolt in game 2.
Had you seen any splashes from this list?
I don't recall. I think it was just red. I think it was just red.
Alright, so I'm immediately thinking like some number of lightning bolts, right? Yeah. Which is annoying for our life total also.
Exactly. We're all on this ring. That's the theme.
Well, I mean, you theoretically don't have to be if you get to throw it at them.
That's true. That's sort of...
So it's kind of like, how can we throw it at them? Because I don't think we can throw it at them this turn. Like, we play a Broadside Bombardier, they're just going to bolt it.
Yeah.
And it's like, cool, that sucks.
Yeah. It's like, oh, and my beautiful son, it's dead.
So we kind of have to be, like, annoying enough to get the bolts out of their hand.
Exactly.
But not play the Bombardier, because we don't want to lose the Bombardier.
Correct.
Jeez. Okay. All right. Right, we're at 15.
We are at 15.
So most of our lines, we're just going to start with like the simplest line to analyze. Yep. So Cavern Human.
Yep. Magic of the
Cavern Human, Magic of the Moon. So we go to 13.
Correct.
We've got a tapped thing. Ooh. Or do we want to go 11 in that line to also play another thing? Like tap both. Tap both, go to 11. Play Cavern on Human.
Play Legion Warboss.
We probably still lead Magus.
Yeah, but then after Magus, we've got like our Ancient Tomb turns into a mountain.
Yeah. So like assume like Magus Warboss. Right?
Yeah.
Actually, part of me doesn't like that because I hate leaving the shaman around.
Yes, this is something that in the previous turn we could have dealt with it.
Yeah. Okay. Alright, so 11 Magus Warboss.
Yep.
We make our idiot.
Correct.
We swing with the idiot.
Correct. They're down to Sakenzin treasure token, because we've got rid of the saga because of Magi.
Yeah, I mean, they probably float it if they have, like, an abrade, right?
Yeah.
So they could, like, abrade Magi or abrade Warboss, right? So let's even assume we don't get the swing in. Like, Let's assume they float, kill the war boss. Oh god, it's weird because it becomes it becomes life neutral on blocking or not.
That's why I wanted to start with this painter matchup, Sarah, because I knew this. Oh, okay. No, come on.
Film Sahar, stop.
Oh, sorry. I'm going.
Okay.
Stop it.
All right.
So it is neutral. We're on neutral at the moment.
All right. So 11 Magus War Boss feels fine. Okay. So what's the most maximalist approach? Right. What's the approach that says vroom zoom in the best possible way?
It's using our Cavern and our Simian Spirit Guide to pay 2/3 drops.
Yeah. So we go to 11 War Boss Bombardier.
Yes. And if one of them dies, then we have the other one.
Yeah, in that line, we're expecting Bomber to die.
Correct.
There's a decent chance War Boss dies as well.
Yep.
So we need to factor that in.
Correct. I knew this painter matchup would get you going. This matchup is so interesting. I've been thinking about it for like, this matchup happened about, I want to say like a week a bit ago, and I've still been thinking about it.
Okay. So if I assume Bomber doesn't die,
okay,
we're just in Winning City.
Correct.
Right? Like
I love Winning City.
We chuck the token at their token. Yeah, they get to untap with a Saga, but like we're gonna Magus next turn. One construct ain't gonna do it. We can probably chuck a ring at some point. So we're in the Vruma Zoomaverse, and we're probably fine. Magus War Boss definitely deals with the Saga.
Correct.
Which is fine.
This is
okay. All right. Trade offer.
Okay, trade offer. Counter offer. I'm listening.
What about the line 13 Magus dead your guy?
Okay.
So
okay. I'm listening.
If I go Magus dead your guy,
yep.
We're only going to 13,
correct,
which is relevant because we're going to 11 next upkeep.
Yep.
We get rid of your Saga.
Correct.
We get rid of that dumb ass Shaman. You get to flip. We still have the Spirit Guide in hand, correct, which allows us to like emergency dead another thing.
Correct.
And then we're gonna untap with like 3 mountains if it isn't dead, or like
a Squillian mana.
Oh, but then the Cavern sucks. The Cavern is so bad in that line.
This is why, folks, I pivoted off this deck. But we have to work with the cards we've got, okay?
Yeah. Like the Cavern is all right.
Okay, what's your
additional trade-off?
Okay,
counter 10 Magus dead.
Oh god.
All right, so if we go to 10 Magus dead to play untap Shatter Skull Smash.
Okay, we're gonna go to 8 next. We're gonna go to 8 the following turn.
Yeah. I'm just spitballing it.
That's
okay,
fine.
that line's not allowed because if they've double bot, they just send them upstairs.
Yeah,
all right,
exactly.
That line's banned.
Okay.
So we're deleting that line.
In the Shadow Realm it goes.
All right. Okay, so I'm between 11 Warboss Bombardier and 13 Magus dead your guy.
Okay.
Because to me, these are the lines that deal the best with what they're doing. Like
correct.
Magus Stone Rains them, but that feels garbage if like they just get to swing with their Shaman, correct, right? Like we're probably blocking and they're not even down mana. Right, correct. So like, what did we actually do here?
Nothing.
So like, Magus dead answers what they're doing, but it's very, very reactive. Right. But technically, you can argue that you have permission to be reactive because you have the One Ring.
Correct.
As long as you commit for the rest of the game to just murder your opponent, and it does the thing we're talking about, where if they have exactly one removal spell, they may feel obligated, and we can weave the Bombardier in to take the pressure that we're putting on our own life total away.
Correct.
The issue with Magus dead is the Magus probably dies, and then we're probably putting ourselves to probably taking 4. We're taking like 6, right? We're like going to 7 next turn, and we chuck the ring, but
we're still at 7.
Yeah, and that's like a scary place to be against the lightning bolt deck when we have ancient tombs for lands. And then there's Broom Zoom.
Yeah.
Which if they have a lightning bolt, I think we've just lost the game.
Yeah.
And I think they have a lightning bolt. So
okay, DM. Let me show you what I did. Okay. So let's see what Sahar playing by herself does. So I
do go. Said I'm going to be proud.
I do. I mess up. I actually mess up.
Okay.
Because I end up using the spirit guide. And I shouldn't have. I should have just. I think I used the spirit guide. I think I highlighted. I'm trying to remember why I had the spirit guide on. Let me just remember
We'll see what happens.
Okay, so I do dead. They braid it. I dead in response. Okay, so I did do that. So I did.
Okay, cool. I like it.
Okay, I did that. I was like smiling because I was like, that is the line I ended up doing. But I definitely can see the world where the room zoom option is still there. But I think in my head, I was like, I smelt something. I definitely smelt like. I think smelt, but telegraphed is the phrase we say, folks. Telegraph removal. It is a skill set that I am not amazing at, the telegraphing, because sometimes I get into my own head. But in this case, I had like an inkling of maybe you've got something.
They just have to.
Yeah, exactly. Like... Right? They do nothing. They're just like, what have you got in your hand? You've got cards you can cast. So then we pass the turn. So we just pass. Now on 13, everything's fine. Opponent, I think, just goes, makes the thing, plays Ancient Tomb, and plays Grindstone. I'm like, sure, that's fine. I'm like, okay, you play Grindstone. They still have 2 mana up.
Yeah.
And I am like, okay, and you've got 2 cards in hand. So in my head, I am like, there's half of my brain is like, I think they've got nothing. And then there's the kind of the small voice in my head going, I think they have something. Like, they probably still have Bolt, but remember that, and we'll see in the turn cycle what sort of happens. But yeah, so they play Grindstone. I'm like, okay, live your best life. They go to their end step. We go to 11. Got a million cards. We draw Vandal Blast.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good. It's pretty hot. We love Vandal Blast.
Okay.
Let me go.
Okay, so rewind a little bit.
I'll go back.
Okay,
I'll go back from. Okay, folks. So
I think we can agree we definitely tap the ring.
Yeah.
So
we tap the ring, and then now we have 10 cards in hand, folks. Okay, now we've got so many cards. So we drew Vandal Blast, and then we drew Double Bomb.
Okay.
So many good cards in hand.
Okay, so let's do some calculation. All right. So if their hand is exactly Ancient Tomb Painter, they can do the combo next turn.
That's correct.
That's never a question.
That's without
any land painter does that do it. So it's 2 for yes, any land painter does it.
Correct.
Okay, cool. So any mana source plus painter presents a combo.
Correct.
Okay. I'm gonna say something that sounds fucking insane.
That's fine.
Last turn?
The Cavadon Human?
Yeah. Do you think we maybe should have used Spirit Guidance so we could still name Goblin?
So, I've been thinking about that for the past week. I've been like, this Cavadon Human is so short-sighted. But then I go, but that's the thing. This is why I love this match. This is why I love doing replays now. Because it gets the juices going. I'm like, if I'd just done Simian Spirit Guide, we could have had this Goblin, and we lived our best life. I even said at the start of the video we could have done Goblin. Because, now we're in this weird spot where we have 5 colorless sources and a lot of red pips that we cannot cast. Well, we can cast, but it's a bit more tricky.
Yeah.
But yes, I did think of that as I reviewed this replay. This is now my 3rd time reviewing it. Once after I watched it, 2nd time with someone else, and now I'm here with all of you folks.
Okay. So I think even me, like I was being way too short-sighted, and we need to think more about how committal Kevin is.
Yeah.
Anyway,
we're
as
here now.
played, as played. Yeah, so you have gone grindstone,
go,
and nothing else.
They got bolt, or they got something. Why they took 2 cards in their hand? Unless they draw like Chaos Defiler or something.
I mean, they took damage to do it, which says to me you've got something to do with that red mana.
So bolt, pyroblast. What
I mean,
else?
Pyroblast is a nothing.
I mean,
I don't even think you hold up red if it's Pyroblast. We can rule out like Fable.
Yeah.
We can rule out. I think you can even rule out a lot of like Goblin Engineer lines. Like
they would have played it.
Yeah,
they would have played those cards.
So it feels like your hand is like entirely removal or like Painter removal, and you're trying to be tricky with the Painter and hope you like top deck a land.
Yeah. Or you've drawn the only other thing I could think of, the only other like worst case scenario for them is like they've drawn like Chaos Defiler, Painter, and they're like, okay.
I mean, with Chaos Defiler, Painter, I think you tap the Sokensen to play Grindstone.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, that's fair. Keep your life total. Keep your life total. Like, you don't have to tap out when you don't have to.
Yeah, so I even, like, I think you can eliminate that from your opponent's range.
So it's removal, it's removal something.
Yeah, like...
I see that.
Or double removal, or, like, all sorts of things. Yeah. So, with that in mind, oh, that's scary. Okay,
yeah, it is. Welcome to playing against Painter.
It's only 2 cards, though.
It is 2 cards. It is only 2 cards. That is.
It can't be like double bolt and Painter.
Correct.
Like it can't be that.
Correct.
Though, see, like this would be easy if we didn't put the cavern on human. This is a common thread of this. This is going to be a common thread of this section of the video, folks. Is this damn cavern? This would take. Okay, so
this cavern.
Right.
This cavern.
First line.
First offer.
The first line I'm thinking about puts us to 4.
Okay, 4.
So you die to double bolt.
Correct. 8. Yeah, you got a 4. Yeah, okay. All right. I'm with you. I'm with you.
Okay. So the first lanes take you to 4, and that's to like maximize the amount of things you can cast.
Correct.
And you end up swinging. And you're kind of just like, I don't think you can beat this with 2 cards.
Correct.
That's a line.
That's a line of all time.
What other lines do we have? Okay, so if we don't care about playing the red land untapped, let's say it's like a double bomber line, right? Yeah. So it's like Lotus Petal, Bomber, Pitch, Bomber, go to combat. You die to paint a land, but paint a land shouldn't be what their hand is. But it could be removal Painter, and then they can draw a land. So that sucks.
Correct.
Okay.
This is so funny. I'm enjoying this already. This is such a good idea to do. This is exactly the level of detail I need. Is Sarah losing her mind trying to figure out how Sahar Mahadi would play?
Okay, right. What happens if?
Okay.
We bolt ourselves, so we go to 8.
Correct.
We tap. No, that still dies to double bolt. Okay. All right. Petal.
Correct.
Tap Ancient Tomb and Petal, go to 9.
Correct.
Play a single Bombardier.
Correct.
Move to combat.
Correct.
If they have a removal spell, it'll be used now.
Yes.
So let's assume they bought the Bomber.
That's fine.
Okay, so now their range is isolated to double removal spell or Painter as like actual problems.
Correct.
The issue being for us is that we're gonna go really low.
That's very true.
But at that point, if they remove the bomber, they can't have double bolt.
True.
So if that's the case, suddenly maybe we can go to 6. No, because then we go to 4 and we go to 1. Okay.
Do you see how interesting this game is?
Okay, so Petal.
You got it.
Petal, Tap Tomb, Bomber. Right. Petal, Tap Tomb, Bomber.
Yep.
The thing is, I don't think you're allowed to cast a second Bomber.
Okay. Why do you think that? Because our life total gets too low?
It isn't even that. It's like, it's the awkwardness of the red pips.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure you have to play Shatterskull tapped.
Yeah.
And like, if you then go second Bomber, maybe you have to. Maybe you've like forced yourself to. Because of the situation we're in.
This damn cavern keeps going back to haunt us.
Okay, so if you go Petal 9 Bomber, Simian Spirit Guide 7 Bomber.
Yep. That means that
go to attack.
Attack for 4. Fling Ring, probably.
Yeah, Fling Ring probably at the Reflection at that point.
Yes, I would probably try to.
So, like, let's assume they do nothing.
Yeah.
Right? So you're sitting at 7.
They've F6'd.
Yeah, like, they do nothing, which is weird. At that point, you have to bolt yourself. And get rid of the Grindstone, which I absolutely hate. I think you're forced into it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And if they remove 1 Bomber, then you get to swing, fling. I think you then have to bolt yourself yet again, and Vandal Blast the Grindstone.
Oh my god, we're healing ourselves so much.
Because you can't just die to Painter Mana Source.
I'm not disputing that.
Oh, but how the fuck do you ever win if you do that? You can't tap your lands anymore. You do have double Bombardiers, which is, don't get me wrong, great position to be in usually.
Yeah, but in this state, not so much. But
then again, there's like no 2 cards that actually like beat the double Bomber on board. I feel like
apart from like Bolt, like they have to double Bolt.
I mean, yeah, but we're eliminating that by like saying that they're not killing the Bombers.
Okay,
right?
That's fair.
Like,
I'll see that.
If they kill the Bomber, we might just have to risk them, like, Painter killing us.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, we might just have to say, like, yeah, sure, buddy.
Yeah, that's how I died. That's how I died in game 2. So, it's like just not respecting it and then. Ta-da!
Okay. Yeah, I guess I'm on double Bomber with like the position to like bolt myself in the face to Vandal Blast afterwards, most likely.
Okay. Is this your final? I feel like this is like we're doing like Family Fortunes of like, is this your final answer or like who was?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I might re-question the bolting myself. Like, I might just say go, depending on what they do. But I think I'm always starting Bomber.
Okay. Let's see what I did. I went Lotus Petal. I played Bomber off the Simian Spirit Guide.
Sure.
I then attack. They bolt.
Single Bomber.
Single Bomber. So they go single Bomber, they bolt it.
So, my issue with single Bomber is that you take more damage.
Exactly. And this is where this turn cycle I did not play well. I honestly, if in retrospect, I felt they had like 1 removal spell. I don't even think they had 2. I think when I saw them tapping just for Grindstone, in my head I was like, oh, like you have nothing. I basically have free reign. So this was a mistake on my part.
Yeah, I mean, I think it implies the opposite, right? Like,
yeah, this is an evaluation on me of like me. This is something I've realized in my playing that I definitely get into my own head rather than kind of thinking about like what. The way I've kind of described it to myself is how does my opponent win the game? Like how do I I feel like this game was mine to lose because of the decisions we made and they giving, not recognizing what they could have had to get themselves back in. So you know, that's, for me, this is something where I was like, oh, you got a braid. Okay, well then I don't think you have another removal spell. But now discussing with this, why we're doing this now, I feel like them having a braid and bolt, I was like, in my head at the time, I was a bit like, oh, that's annoying. And now, upon reflection, I would be like, oh, they were telegraphing they had 2 removal spells. And I could have played around that. So, yeah. This is why we're here, folks, for you to see my bad mistakes.
It's also the fact that we're, like, so committed to having to fling the ring.
Yes.
That I'm basically willing to die to double bolt.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that is so much less likely than 1 bolt.
Yep. That's fair.
Like, yeah, like, ultimately, the actual lesson is don't get in this spot, play your fucking Cavern on Goblin, but,
or don't play Cavern. Or in further iterations, don't play Cavern. But this is a good lesson in Cavern. This is a good lesson when you have multiple Cavern names.
This is kind of like one of the most interesting things that comes up all the time in coaching. So I've been working with Jason Yee.
Shout out Jason Yee. We love Jason Yee.
Ridiculously strong player. Its thoughts are always like just something that we've noticed is that, like, the spots that I think are, like, super interesting we should analyze, and, like, they are, but it always goes, well, you could have stopped yourself being in this position, but you have to make this really... Yeah, exactly, like, it's like, you know what, the turn before this, though, is the reason you're in such a tough spot.
This is a perfect example of this. As like, look, this Cavern was on Goblin. We're having a great day. But we're not having a great day right now. So let's continue what we do. So then I go. I think I play tapped and I say go. I say go, and in retrospect, should have said go. I should have played either another bomber or
you can't play another bomber.
Oh, I just die. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually agree with this. Once you get to this point, the answer is don't get to this point.
Play your Cavern on Goblin. Play your Cavern on Goblin, folks. That's
yeah. At this point, the only thing you're beating is, like, Painter in hand. Go for it.
Yeah.
So you have to play as if that's what they have, and in that case, this is the correct line.
Yep.
But yeah,
we're not in a good spot, folks. But let's continue. So we pass the turn. Opponent untaps, upkeeps, draws. They attack for 2. I'm like, okay, that's a little annoying. I dead the token, so I don't die. They play Welder. Now I'm like, you played Welder. I don't think you have anything. Right now, my brain is like, I think you've got absolute nothing. I think you've got either, you haven't played land. Why didn't you play a land? So it's not land. You would have played Painter Servant. You would have played...
I don't think they would have.
You don't think they would have played Painter Servant? Because if what, just die?
Because they don't have another land source.
That's true.
Right? So you could sandbag Painter.
Yeah. So they could have played Painter. They could have drawn. In my head, I think they've got nothing. I think they've got nothing. Alternatively, they have another bolt, and I don't see it. Okay.
Okay.
But in my mind, at this moment, between you, me, and our wonderful audience, I think they've got nothing. On my heart. And on my cat, on the honor of my cat, I think they got nothing, okay? Welder go. We now get to my turn. We're now on 6. We draw Goblin Rabble Master. We tap our ring to draw 3 cards. We now have 10 cards in hand again.
It's a good place to be.
It is a good place to be. We've got 1,000,000 cards.
You just need to not die to anything.
Exactly.
Okay, so you get to play your Cavern. You get to name the thing you should have named.
Turn 3. We should have named what the thing we should have named.
All right. Let's do this. Okay. So we need to fucking fling the ring or we die.
That is correct.
I like this spot so much. Okay, all right. We need to fling at the ring.
We need to fling at the ring. We need to fling at the ring at their face, probably.
Too much preparation for Italy.
We need to fling at the ring.
Okay, so again, we probably need to double bomber, which owie, ow, oof, my bones. Oh god, do you even not play Cavern? Wait. Maybe not playing Cavern is actually better. Okay. So, alright, so if we play Cavern...
Yep.
So let's look at the Cavern line. So if we want to go Cavern double bomber...
We go to 2.
We can tap our like all of our red lands for the first bomber, and that means it's no damage.
Correct.
And then we go Mox, put something under it, let's say Rabble.
Correct.
Second one, so we go to 4.
Correct.
So that keeps us at bolt range.
I love that.
Nice. And then we get to swing. We get to, like, fling, like, the welder ring at them. What are the chances of us just dying? Moderate. Moderate to low.
Correct.
I would say.
Yep.
But we can never tap our Ancient Tombs again. And we've just
we basically have stone. We basically have 2 lands that cannot.
Yes. Alternatively, City Mox, put Rabble under it.
Yep.
You get to tap the City and the Shatter Skull.
Correct.
For a bomber.
That is correct.
And then you tap Ancient Tomb and the Mox for the other bomber. So we're at 4 again.
That is correct.
Yeah, I guess that's not really an improvement. So in the case of non-improvement, we should lean towards the Cavern, because we can play other lands after it. Right?
Yep.
There's like no way to have red mana after this.
No,
is
this is
unless we get a 2, and then we're just dead to any bolt, which is a loser's game.
Yep.
Especially when we're not clocking fast enough
Correct.
for anything else.
Exactly.
And you have to go double bomber because we've put ourselves in this position.
We should have double bombered last turn. Don't we have a bomb?
Because if you single bomber, you lose to bolt 2 different ways.
Yeah.
If you double bomber, you don't lose this turn to bolt, but you lose to Painter, rip any mana source.
Correct.
Which is less likely, though I'm pretty sure their hand is exactly Painter serve. Just by the way they've played this, it feels like they're just playing to be tricky around a combo line.
Yeah, that makes
sense.
sense.
They're basically like, I want to just point things at your things until your ring kills you, or I can Painter all in one turn. Correct. Because we're having to tap out every turn.
Yep.
So the moment they have it, they have it.
Yep, exactly.
Yep, cool.
All right, so let's see what I did, because I didn't do that. Spoiler alert, folks, I did not do that because I played like a ham sandwich. So I go Goblin, I go Chrome Mox, I put the Legion Warboss under it, I tap to play everything. I play Goblin Rabble Master because in my head I don't think they have anything. Because in my mind I'm going to get rid of this welder, and then we can. No, I get you. I know. I'm already. Look, I lost this game, folks. Let's spoil it. Okay?
Did you die to your own One Ring?
I did die to my own One Ring because I then played the bomber because I'm like, I just get to deal with this. I get to fling the ring. I make a friend, and then they bolt it.
Yeah,
and then we die. Had I just played and jammed my broadside bombardiers on the turns that I had them, and had we put this damn Cavern on Goblin, we might have been able to weave out of this situation. Because these 3 turns, I think the turn 3, with the knowledge we had, was correct, but it didn't have the foresight. I think in context of the turn itself, it made sense, but in the context of the rest of the match, or the rest of the game, I should say, it didn't make sense. This is something else I have learned about playing One Ring with Ancient Tomb. I felt about it before, and I felt it now, is that there is a real cost of playing One Ring for having all those cards. You don't have the life to necessarily deal with them. So yes, while you have all this amount of overwhelming advantage in terms of utilizing the sequencing to the best of your ability, you need to be able to deal with this card because it will kill you. And this is exactly what happens. Because it had...
Yeah. I mean, these are the kind of games you want to find in your analysis, because now, instead of autopiloting a Cavern of Souls, you all sit there and think about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, whenever you have to cast one.
Exactly.
So it's like...
It's also why I'm not putting Cavern in my red decks anymore, because this hurts my head.
But even if you were going to continue, even if this was like the best deck in the world, like, this is a lesson you have to learn.
Cavern of Souls naming convention is a good skill set to have.
And then on top of that, like, I think the thing is, like, trying to develop a sense of urgency around, like, what we needed to happen, right? Like, there's the hand reading issues, but, like, that's fine. Like, theoretically, I've been focusing a ton of hand reading, and I play Painter. So shouldn't necessarily expect, like, the same thing if that's not a focus.
Yeah, that's fair.
But ultimately, we knew we had to get rid of the One Ring.
Yeah.
So why did we not make sure we got rid of the One Ring? Right?
And this is something that I definitely I think in my head, and I can say this now, I definitely think I kind of felt I had my guard. I feel like there was an element of, like, I feel like, oh, I've got this, so I can just play a bomber. I can develop a board presence. I die to, like, the combo, but, like, so be it. Like, I just have to, like, jam. But even from the mulligan decision in turn 1 of, like, okay, if ring is the way we're going to be all in, we have to find bomber and we have to cast it, and it has to survive, so we can have a way of, like, having this release valve. Because whilst having this overwhelming advantage, you also need to, like, you know, deal with the fact you have this overwhelming advantage. And this is something which you should not be dying, you know, if you've got, like, 10 cards in hand, you should not be dying with 10 cards in hand. Like, you've done something wrong there.
Yeah.
I think that's you know, unless it's all hands or something like that. But I take that as a lesson from, like, the Storm players who have used, you know, these kind of Echo of Eons, you know, whatever, like, ways of drawing cards. But I think this deck, I feel like this matchup was interesting from kind of navigating sequencing what was important at the time. And for me, I felt like I misevaluated what was important. I felt like I kind of assumed my opponent was they had nothing, so I could just jam my spells. But I even didn't jam my spells correctly. Like, there's definitely a thing, I've thought about this a lot, of, like, sometimes you have to think about what windows do you want to lose to. And in this case, I was like, you have nothing, I lose to Painter Grindstone, but I win everything else. Because I can get rid of the ring, I have a bunch of cards in my hand. Yes, these Ancient Doom don't tap anymore, but I have all the mana I ever need. And I can just start deploying my threats and just have an overwhelming board presence. And the only thing I lose to, and even losing to it, like, I can still, you know, I've got Vandal Blast, like, I can use the Vandal Blast for Grindstone the following turn if they have nothing, but I'm basically assuming that this ring has to, you know, this ring can't kill me, and then I can just stabilize on 4.
I just feel like you should never assume your opponent has nothing unless you can only beat nothing.
True.
Right?
And that's on me. That is 100% on me. That's something that I definitely take for granted. I have taken for granted in the past, in the sense of, and this is much easier, I find this much easier in paper than I do online, because you can read the body language of other people. When you know, people give off tells, they're not, you know, if they've got something, they're very, like, you know, you can read that, but online you don't know. So in my mind, I feel like I that's something that's a skill set that I probably need to improve on, and I think it's something online that I'm probably not as good at that I am in paper, and that's a, you know, I'll admit that. I'm not gonna say to you.
There was like a moment at the RCQ this weekend where I was sitting in round 2 playing against vampires.
Love that.
And I was sitting there listing, like, all the things they could possibly have. And I was, like, weaving my way around it.
Yeah.
And I made my play, and they drew a card and went, good games, and showed me 4 lands in their hand. And it's like, even in that situation, and yeah, like, they had nothing, but the thing was, like, me playing around everything also beat nothing, right?
Yeah,
so
like that's the thing. Again, and again, I'm not going to say that this is a skill set I need to get better at in playing online. I feel like in paper it's a lot. I'm not going to say it feels easier, but for me it feels easier because I feel like I have an understanding of people. I feel I have an understanding of body language, and even the nerdiest nerds give off tells. You can just tell in the way they hold themselves, either way I hold myself. I'm, that's things like that. But yes, hand reading is something I definitely should get better at and something I should be aware of. But I think this was an interesting match. I feel like this one was really super interesting. We've talked about it a lot. Right, folks, we actually are going to go into the Doomsday video because this is very interesting. This is game 3. I'm on the play. Game 1, I go Ancient Tomb Chalice someone. They concede. I'm like, okay. So then I message some people that in one of the Discords I'm in. I'm like, folks, what deck concedes to a Chalice someone? And everyone goes Delver. And I'm like, okay, well, we'll sideboard against Delver. And my opponent goes Underground Sea, Dark Ritual, Doomsday, game 2, and I die. So we're like, okay. I go through their deck. They have One Ring in their deck. That is going to be very relevant in a minute. Okay, this is our opening hand, folks. This hand's not bad.
No, I mean, they can see the Chalice on 1 game 1, right?
Yeah, so you're like,
got...
we can got Chalice on 1, we can play a Fable. Okay, so in the sideboard guides that both Max and XJCloud have posted, they have added Dead Gone into their sideboarding. Which I kind of...
Because people aren't perfect piling against mono red, I'm guessing.
That's also true. But also, there's also a certain large Phyrexian lady that was the sort of, all over standard at one point. Because Shieldred the Apocalypse. This deck cannot be a Shelley. But also, there is a weird corner case, which is a little bit of foreshadowing, of bouncing the Oracle. If they
don't perfect pile.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
you don't have to bounce it. I mean, you can just... Oh, it's a 1-3, isn't it? Yeah, you do have to bounce it.
You have to bounce it. So, I didn't realise this. Okay, folks, as many years I've played Legacy, I didn't know this until very recently. You learn something new every day. Okay? Even me, who just feels like they constantly die to Doomsday, unless I Blood Moon them, didn't know about Dead Gone. So this Dead Gone is a new thing for me. But we've got it in our hand, and in my head, I'm honestly just thinking, with the hand as it is, in my head, it's actually just probably going under a Chrome box. But we have options.
Maybe.
So, okay. So, we go Ancient Tomb, Chalice on 1. They force.
Okay.
So we just move on. Play our Chrome box, put it under an ape, we pass the turn. So I have this Dead Gone if they do play anything. They go land, go, they play One Ring. Okay, I want to pause. We'll pause here. Play One Ring. Now, I think in my mind, I am just slamming this One Ring. Okay? But I did think about playing Fable the Mirror Breaker to put pressure on the board, because I can start attacking.
Okay.
And I can play around days. Because I still assume Doomsday plays days.
Yeah, I mean, it's days on the draw, right? Which is slightly less likely. So, okay, so like rewinding in my head.
Yeah.
To back before you play Chrome.
Yeah.
So, One Ring logs into days. Sure. They don't have Darker at Doomsday, otherwise they probably did it to you.
Exactly. That's what happened in game 2.
Yeah. So days still sets them back a turn?
Yeah, that's fine. I don't mind being set back a turn. I have Fable to follow up.
Exactly. So I'm actually not that worried about days.
Yeah.
What else can their hand be?
Could be another force.
Yeah, I mean, I assume you have a Doomsday or some way to find Doomsday in your hand. Else, why are you keeping?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they went force, pitch, force.
Yes.
Which either implies a lot of forces or that was it for blue cards.
Yeah, that's it. We're done now. It's all black cards. Just in our hand. Our hands up.
Well, it can't all be black cards because they would have Darker at Doomsday you.
That's true.
So it can't be that. One Ring just feels like the thing I'm slamming here.
Yeah, I in my head, I thought about the Fable line to play around days, but I'm like, you know what? One ring against Doomsday has to be good, right? You find everything you want, and you can start you know, as we saw in the Painter matchup, you draw a bunch of cards. You keep up with cards that they also draw, because they are also a Ponder Brainstorm deck. And I saw One Ring in their pile when they did their Doomsday pile in game 2. So opponent's also a gamer. And I think they were playing, I think it was just blue-black with One Rings. Gaming out their minds. Similar to the Mark Toby Ashless, that was 4-color, but like you can play One Ring in your Doomsday deck.
Yeah, I feel like the only way you like die next turn is like it's incredibly unlikely in my mind that you die next turn, so I'm kind of like happy to tap out.
Yeah.
We don't have like, if you give them infinite time, it just becomes deterministic.
Exactly.
So sometimes you just have to pick your spot to jam.
Yeah, exactly.
And they didn't Darker at Doomsday, so I'm jamming.
Yeah.
Is kind of where I'm at.
So we go to 16, we play it. I don't tap it again. This time I'd actually think it might... I tap it on our upkeep. I don't know where... but sure. Now they Dark Ritual... I think they Dark Ritual... They play their own ring.
Okay, sure, that makes sense.
Okay, so now we... Well, even still, I'm like, you're using a Dark Ritual to play ring. That is one less Dark Ritual you do not have to play your Doomsday.
It also means they didn't have Doomsday in hand.
Exactly, so they're now using One Ring to find Doomsday. So we're both gaming. We're both gamers. And now I play Bomber, which I think is... Play Bomber... This gets forced onto a daze. Like, okay. They drew that. In my head, I'm like, you drew that daze.
Yeah, seems about right.
That seems about right. Okay, so we'll continue. They go to 16. They tap their ring. Right now, I feel okay because I've got like two ways of I've got another ring if I want it. I've got 2 fables. I don't have pressure, which is kind of annoying, but I don't feel.
Yeah, we really need pressure.
Yeah, they play a land, and I think they just say go. So I'm like, you said go. You got 4 cards in hand. You said go. You got 3 mana up. I was like, okay, sure. Go to end step. Go to our turn. We go to 11. Go to 11. We draw Mountain. I'm like, okay, that's not amazing.
Okay.
We draw some cards. We draw Blood Moon. Now let's stop here because this is now we're in a spot where we haven't drawn pressure, but we have drawn a way of stopping them.
Yeah, doing things.
Exactly. So
most Doomsday lists only play 1 island.
Correct.
Sometimes they'll board up to 2.
Yes, if they have it. If they have
but
it,
it's like a thing where they usually have to build their pile around it.
Yeah,
and it's
that makes sense.
Pile pressure.
Yep.
So in my mind, if Blood Moon resolves, we're probably not dying this turn.
Yep.
All right. So in my mind,
yep.
The here's everything line is like Mountain, tap, Ancient Tomb and Mountain, play Blood Moon.
Yep.
It resolves. I go cool. I play Chrome Mox, put a Fable under it, play another Fable, say go.
Yeah. That's like God's perfect hand. God's perfect sequence.
Yeah. If Blood Moon doesn't resolve.
Yes. We're now on 9.
Oh god, being on 9 really sucks for this. I almost don't wanna do anything.
You wanna pass?
Yeah, it feels like you just okay. The issue is
yeah, we don't have the issue is we don't have time.
Yeah, like they passed, so they don't have Doomsday right now. If they tap their ring and they find Doomsday, they're probably just like fetch Doomsday. How often are they killing us that turn? I'm assuming they have to tap their ring first. If they don't have to tap their ring first, I think you are guaranteed dead if you tap out.
Sure.
Yeah. Like ring draws 3 into the pile, you are like ultra dead. Like you can, yeah. Okay. So that's fine. Okay. I think all of my lines though start with Mountain Blood Moon.
Okay.
And then I kind of go from there.
Right. Let's see. Okay. So you're going Mountain Blood Moon and see what happens.
Yes. Then I want to like reevaluate.
Let's see what I do. Tap. I decide. Then I go tap. What do I do? Then I play Blood Moon.
No.
What do you mean?
No.
What have I done wrong?
You have to tap the Ancient Tomb.
I have to tap the Ancient Tomb?
Yes.
Think I should have tapped the Ancient Tomb?
100%.
Trying to conserve my life total. This is another thing that I have noticed is I am scared of my life. I can take more damage than I realize.
I have to assume that you're going to draw a broadside bombardier and like your top 5, otherwise you're probably dead anyway, and none of this matters. So in my mind, I'm like, I need to tap Ancient Tomb for this. So if for some reason I feel like I need to, well, also it lets me play 2 things. This is whereas this line doesn't.
This is the for me, this is the clinch turn that I felt like I made a mistake. Because as soon as you said tapping the Ancient Tomb to do it, and knowing what I had done, I was like, oh, you got scared about your life total because you're going to go to 6. And in the previous game, the life total does matter because they have bolts. In this matchup, my life total really does not matter because they're not attacking me through damage. They're attacking me they're basically killing me through a combo. So I can go to 1 and still win the game.
While you have something to deal with Shelly on your upkeep, like...
Exactly.
That's kind of like the big thing, right? I just like, I feel... Like, yes, it means that you have to find Bombardier, like, now. Almost immediately.
Exactly.
But also, like...
No, I will admit this was not... As soon as you said the Ancient Tomb line, and I knew, 100%, that was a mistake on my part. And the only reason why I can say it now is I got scared of my life total. And this matchup is not about the life total.
I just want to like give it a good shake because like there is an argument that like if you tap the Ancient Tomb, like you're taking an extra turn down the 1 ring clock.
Yep.
The thing is, like, it lets you play Fable, which lets you get like 2 more draw steps closer to that Bombardier.
Yeah, exactly.
And you need to be finding pressure. Like, I mean, worst case, we just cast another 1 ring, even.
Exactly.
So I'm not actually even scared of that.
Yeah. This was a mistake on my part. I feel like playing Blood Moon was correct. The sequencing to play Blood Moon was incorrect.
Yes. Okay.
So we do that. They fetch.
You getting the island now, buddy? Yeah. Okay.
Get the island. And I think this resolves, if I remember correctly. This resolves. And I think in my mind, okay, I am now not taking damage off my ring. I am just taking damage off the ring, but I'm not taking damage as well as. So, but they are drawing a bunch of cards. So this is we are a little bit in like, squeaky bum time. They play Ponder. I'm like, okay, so they've drawn a bunch of cards and still not found it. I'm like, all right, I feel okay. All right, they're just casting Ponder.
It's like really hard for them to resolve Doomsday at the minute.
Exactly, they need like literally Dark Ritual Doomsday. They play Cavern, and
so that's the only land in their hand.
Yeah, exactly. So now they say go. So now I feel like, okay, if they've got 7 cards in hand, either they can't cast anything, and this Blood Moon has done God's work, and they haven't played around Blood Moon, or they, which is kind of what I thought at the time, or upon reflection, they have 7 cards in hand. Oh no, they have a way to, go for it. But then why wouldn't, if the
way you need to draw into the pile is 1 ring, you get to wait, right?
That's true. Yeah.
That is something you kind of have to think about.
Exactly. So that's something on reflection, this 1 ring means that they're drawing into their entire pile. So we go to end step, we go to 8. I'm doing this here. Go to 8, draw ape, we draw cards, we don't draw bomber.
Okay.
So now we've drawn a bunch of lands, that's fine, but we can make a load of mana. If we think that they have a way to do the Doomsday thing, then we should be holding up maybe like a Dead Gone if it's not like a imperfect pile. Or the other option is we just slam 2 Fables and say go.
I think I'm like slam 1 Fable.
Okay.
Slam 1 Fable, play a Chrome Marks, then you have Dead Gone around days.
Yeah, we have got 11 cards in the hand.
Yeah.
The other option is to play another ring. So we're not...
We can do that next turn,
yeah.
in my mind. Like, it's get something on board first.
Yeah, exactly. So, let's see what I end up doing. I think I play Fable. Yeah. Play one Fable. Fabbly Jabbly resolves. I'm like, okay, Fabbly Jabbly resolved.
That terrifies me.
I then go Chrome Mox.
I've never been more scared to see something resolve than have it get countered.
I mean, true. I put, I think, Shatterskull under it, yeah. And then I play City.
City's fine. I probably would have played Shatterskull.
Yeah.
But it doesn't... Ooh, why is the Spirit Guide going away? So, oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay. You're tapping out.
I'm tapping out.
All right.
Okay, I'm going to tell you now that I'm tapping out. Because we do tap out, folks, okay? I tap out because I'm
around days, at least.
No, not even around days.
Oh, to play a ring.
To play ring.
Okay.
Because I'm on 8, I die in 2 turns, I play ring. My ring resolved. I'm like, thank God. Okay, I'm not dead. Or so I thought. Or so I thought.
Yeah.
Not yet. Or so I thought.
The deadest, gonest person.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So then we say go. Because now opponents on 9.
Yeah.
This is fine. I love that.
They're about to be on 4.
They're about to be on 4. They are about to be on 4. Let me...
Yeah, just click play. Let this one roll. I want to see this live. Yep. I mean, okay, like, full condolences. I'm pretty sure they have Force of Will, so, like...
You think so? You think it had Force?
Yeah, I think, like, holding up Dead Gun actually doesn't matter.
Well, let's count, because there's 1, 2... Yeah, they have Force. If we look at they have 1, 2... Yeah, they have Force of Will in their hand.
Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't think holding up Dead Gun actually saves you here, but that's more of an issue of, like...
I tapped out.
We never had pressure, ever.
We never had pressure. They just go for the cycle pile and we die. But
they went in perfect. Oh, so, I mean, I guess your opponent's tapped out, sure, but
your opponent's tapped. Had they not tapped out, had I not tapped out like a ham sandwich for the 1 ring, I think because there is a world now with hindsight. We can now talk about this with hindsight. There is a world in hindsight where you can hold up double Dead Gun, but then you're doing nothing.
Yeah, that just loses in a completely different way. I think you're dead here, and I think, like, you're dead...
Either way.
Well, yeah. Like, the actual death that you died was the fact that you had no pressure entire game.
That's true.
Like, that's the actual death you died. So, like, let's go back. Like, if you, like, open up, like, the beginning of the game again...
Yeah, okay.
We have to think, like, okay, when could we have sequenced pressure? And if the answer is never...
We should have mulled.
You should have mulliganed. Yeah,
let's have a look. Let's look at the hand again and see if it actually had pressure. No, hand has no pressure. It doesn't. It doesn't.
I'm gonna count Fable as pressure.
Okay.
Like, yeah. I mean, I guess the pain is if you get double forced, you're just in pain zone.
I mean, I'm dead to double force from Doomsday anyway. Like it's, but I wonder because we drew ring. I remember we drew ring. Because we had Fable ring. I wonder if we had gone Fable first. Because then we play ring, find another Fable, and then we're kind of chaining Fables. I wonder if I should have played Fable before ring. But then at the time, you're like, ring's so powerful.
Ring also, like, finds you more pressure usually. Can we go forward to, like, the first turn post ring?
It's here?
Yeah.
This gets, our threat gets bombed. Our bomber gets...
Okay, so we get triple Force of World at that point.
Do we get triple Force? Because they've used 1.
The graveyard gets shuffled back into...
Oh, the graveyard gets shuffled in, you're correct. Oh my God, I forgot about the graveyard!
Don't worry about it. Okay, so they forced our Chalice.
And they forced our bomber. Would they have forced double Fable? Could I have done the Duke of Force... Well, I think the Force check on Chalice is still correct. I think that's still correct.
Yeah.
But I wonder if we could have done the Duke that you do against, like, the blue decks, where you go
Well, you wouldn't have found the second Fable, most likely.
It would have been two. It would have been two. Well, no, I would have found it like 3 turn. I would have found this. I would have found this card in turn 5. If I was just drawing that. Oh,
okay,
no.
so they force the bomber. That's probably fine. So what happens next?
That's the one where we draw like 4 lands.
Okay.
If I remember correctly. Let's just go through. But I think that's the one where we draw like 2 Shatter Skulls, a Sekenzen, and a city or something. So they draw, they say go. Very nice, very nice. Then we play this. We play land. Oh, this is the one we get Blood Moon. So this Blood Moon decision obviously is a mistake on my part. But we still don't have pressure. Now I want now knowing.
Well, if you tap Ancient Tomb for right, so if you tap Ancient Tomb for Blood Moon, then you go Fable. At least that's something.
Yes.
I guess that's the point. Like this is the only.
That's the only window where. So this is one of the. I will say, and this isn't a critique. You cut Furies against Doomsday because they don't have anything.
Do nothing.
They do nothing.
Yeah.
And I think you cut. Double check actually. We double check what I was cutting. You cut Fury, you cut Hearse. Okay, so you're cutting Fuse. But you are lower. You are a lot lower on your creature count. This is something with this list. Ring will find you the creatures. That's not the issue. But Ring also has to find you your creatures. It has to find you your threats. And I think Fable. I think like now knowing what we know, I wonder if just jamming the Fables at their face is the way forward. I still think playing the Blood Moon's correct. But we could have gone Blood Moon Fable, which is the line you suggested.
I think that's probably it. Yeah,
this is the turn. I feel like the pivot point went potentially. Because I got 4 cards in hand, and there was like if you got triple force, Habibi, live your best life. Like honestly.
Yeah. It kind of feels like a rough draw out, but also like
You have to pick.
They don't have triple force because they probably force the Blood Moon, right? So
it's like they force the Blood Moon, then you can play Fable, and then you've got a threat.
Yeah, I would talk to people about that starting hand. I think the hand is fine, it just developed poorly.
Yeah.
But then we made the mistake here.
Yes.
That has murdered us.
Yes.
For sure.
And that's why as soon as I played this matchup and I actually messaged Maxtortion straight after this, like, look, against Doomsday, how low do you go on your life total? And his response was 1. He's like, your life total is literally a resource here. You're not going to die to them by them attacking you. If they have brought in Shelly or Orcish Bowmasters, I have 2 ways of dealing. Like, honestly. And yes, had we played to the out of Dead Gone, yes, they force it, but at least I've given myself the out of Dead Gone in an imperfect pile. If they're perfect piles, I'm dead anyway. But this is something I've kind of... This is why Dead Gone's an interesting inclusion against Doomsday, because I think, you bring Dead Gone in and you bring in your Pyroblasts. And that's interesting to me because I would not have thought about bringing Dead Gone in. I would have just shaved 2 Furies. I also have my Break Traps. So if they go for like the, they kill you turn, you can mind Break Trap.
And you're often forcing them into that.
Exactly. I feel like the Dead Gone, I'm not saying a juke, but having Dead Gone is like an interesting inclusion. And for me, I didn't think in the moment while I was playing, I didn't think about what happens if they just go for it and then just have the 2-card pile and then I bounce it to their hand. And then like in this game, it probably wouldn't have mattered because they probably did have force in hand. But in applying it further along, if a Doomsday player, look, we've played Doomsday, Sarah, okay? Piles are hard. People get stressed. And if you can get them with something that they haven't thought about, because what do we learn about Doomsday? You can't play around everything. That to me is a nice, couple of percentage points that I can use to my arsenal to play what is actually not a good matchup for Mono Red. It used to be a lot better because you had anti, you had Trinispheres and stuff like that, but this version isn't as good. So you have to use the cards you have available to do that. And I feel, yes, this turn 4 was the turning point in, getting to that. I'm not going to say that we got double forced. That's the way we lost the game. No, we lost the game because I tapped like a ham sandwich and I could have double spelled and probably baited something out of their hand. Whether that's a removal spell, whether that's whatever. We may never know. But I feel like these two games have been interesting in terms of, well, firstly, ring management. These two games have both been about ring management, or one ring management, which I think for players coming into playing Moon Stompy with ring will make these mistakes. Like, you know, it's the thing of, I think the way I've kind of described it is, with Moon Stompy, you maybe have half these cards in your hand by this turn of the game, and you can kind of work with the cards you have and go, okay, with the cards in my hand, I can do this, then they do this, and they do that, and I can kind of do this. Now, ring gives you an additional, I'm going to call it cognitive load, because you have so many more cards, that now the decisions that you have to make and the sequencing you have to do becomes a lot more pronounced. There's a lot more edge cases. Heck, we've talked about both these matches for well over, you know, half an hour, 40 minutes. So, like, that just demonstrates how much one ring gives the deck in terms of multiple decision points, multiple decision trees. And if you're a blue player, you'll be like, oh, well, we do this all the time. I'm like, yeah, but Stompy
But now you have to get super punished by one sequencing mistake.
Exactly. And that's something that and the reason why I decided to do this, I mean, yeah, okay, folks, we're going to die. But the reason why I decided to do this video today with Sarah is I want to present to folks who think that this deck is brain dead. I am coming at the people who say that because I find that those people will... Okay, folks, the showcase, I said this at the start of the show, the showcase, apart from XJ and Max, had a 38% win rate, okay? You know why it has a 38% win rate? It's because we do dumb stuff like this. And I'm talking as myself, okay? I am heart on sleeve, because we do dumb shit like this. We misevaluate stuff. We tap out when we don't need to tap out. We're playing with cards we don't need to tap out with. Or we play bad cards, like in the case, you know, not in this deck. This deck's quite good. But, you know, there's such an element of thinking about your turns. One ring gives you so much more advantage, but there is a question of what, maybe not the Doomsday game, but especially the Painter game, was my game to lose. I had all the resources and the tools to our advantage, and we ended up, because of a damn Cavern of Souls and multiple other reasons, that we ended up losing it. And we need to, I feel like something with playing One Ring now and playing Mono Red as the version it is now, is that you either need to have an answer to your opponent, or you need to shorten the opponent's lifespan. In the case of this Doomsday matchup, we did not shorten the lifespan of our opponent. We let our opponent get to turn 4, which I know is, oh, Sabra's turn 4. I'm like, yeah, I appreciate that. But if they're on turn 4 and we've got like Rabble Master, they're on like 6. What are they going to do? They're going to Doomsday on 6, and then they've got a ring that's going to kill them? Like,
yeah, it needs to be at that turn pile.
Yeah, exactly. And then if there's that turn pile, then you're like, okay, well, then you have to go for it. If you go, and then what if I have a Pyroblast? Or what if I have Dead God? I don't, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, this game certainly, like, upon retrospect, I still think I'm keeping that hand with what we had, because I feel like Chalice into Fable is still really powerful. But we did not draw our creatures. Creature we did draw ended up getting forced. So, you know, that's why it's, you know, you want to, I feel like with a deck like this, something this deck really, I say praise upon is the wrong phrase there, but this deck leverages, that's the word I was looking for. Leverages is minimizing your opponent's draw steps, okay? It puts pressure on. It's why I liked the previous deck, the version I was playing, played like 25 creatures. I took the initiative perspective of like, well, let's minimize our opponent's draw steps, because if you're going to do it. And with, you know, One Ring giving you this, you know, I say cognitive load because the only phrase I can really think of. If you're playing this deck and then you're like, oh my god, I have so many more decisions to make, and you're not used to that because your heuristics are just jam your spells, maybe that's probably why you're losing. And you're not, you know, or the alternative is you're mulliganing like a ham sandwich because you're trying to find your spells, and then you mulligan to 5 against Scam and then you die. But it's, you know, who am I to tell you what that's the case? That's going to happen. There's definitely something as well I want to add with both the games we've talked about today, Sarah, is we both have spent time over evaluating these gameplays, and this is something gameplay has become very useful. This is something I'm actually becoming a lot more open about with gameplay reviews. Sarah loves them. I was a bit like, who I need to, but I am becoming more open to them, especially when it's games like this, where there's a noticeable, like, a turning point, where it's like, you know, we were talking about it when you were coaching with Jason, where it would tell you, oh, if you'd done this 2 turns prior, this would have happened. Same here. If we didn't tap like a ham sandwich, maybe we had an out. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm ranting a bit, but I feel like this is why we've done this video today, is to show these 2 examples and be like, you will learn something. If not, please tell us in the comments how you didn't learn. Thoughts, feelings, comments, Sarah. Like, these 2 games are very interesting. Also, game 3s, which is why I like them.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, even the games that you think are the most boring are going to have, like, a moment like this in them.
100%.
And you only know once you start reviewing your games. The thing is, like, looking at your own games is painful. And that's why people don't do it.
I'm vulnerable, folks. I'm vulnerable.
The issue is, like, the painful thing you do is the way you get better the quickest.
Exactly.
And it's, like, the number 1 cause of, like, people stagnating and not getting better is that they don't want to do the simple but hard things.
Pointing itself here. It's hard.
I mean, I wasn't doing it until I got a coach to have an accountability system.
Yeah.
And now, honestly, like, yeah, like, most of my progress, even though, like, I do get a lot of progress in the sessions, most of it's outside of the sessions 100%. Because I actually do the work.
Yeah. It's something something else as well, folks. You can do if you don't want to say do your own, like, vulnerable thing, and I can appreciate some people don't want to look at their, you know, ham sandwich plays, is watching others do it. So one thing I've been super glad is with XJCloud streaming again, and he's streaming Moon Stompy. I've been watching along, whether I'm watching live or I'm watching, you know, the VOD afterwards, and I'm watching him play. And I go, would I do that play? And I would sequence it kind of out loud with him. And maybe not out loud, but in my mind, I would sequence it out. And, you know, most of the time, we're pretty aligned. And then there's lines XJ does. I'm like, oh, I didn't really think about it that way. That's interesting. And I will, like, make a comment on it. Or I will watch someone, or I've watched, like, Ika Baronin do, like, when he was doing Goblins, and I would be like, oh, you did this in game 3. Why did you do that? And that's, you know, if you can look at others to also improve if you don't necessarily want to look inward. But I feel like certainly for content, but also I'm about to go to a big tournament at time of recording. This is important to me as my own journey as a Magic player. And Sarah, for me, is someone who keeps me accountable. I should still be...
I'm very annoying.
It's fine, darling. I should still be attacking more with my hearse. I had the heuristic of it should be single digits, and now I'm like, you know what? Sod it, I'm just attacking with this damn thing. If their graveyard is empty, because it's got like 8 counters on it, I'm attacking. Like, we're attacking sideways. I played yesterday, and they had an empty graveyard. I had 8 counters, and I did not attack, and I probably died because of that. So attack with your hearses, folks. It's a threat. But I feel that these 2 matches were a nice exhibition of both One Ring management, sequencing, mulligans, and thinking about a game as a kind of, let's say, not a wider entity, but just like holistically. It's kind of what gameplay reviews are all about. And I hope this has been helpful to people. I hope this has, you know, demonstrated what Magic is about in terms of learning. And I hope for the mono red nerds out there that these 2 matches demonstrate to you that it's not just jam your spells. None of these 2 games we've played are just jam your spells. Folks, thank you so much for, like, letting us do this. I mean, I know I say we do this. It's for you, but for me and you. I feel like we should do more of these, Sarah. If either side, me or you, because they're super interesting. I feel like you learn a lot. And I think considering the deck is as popular as it is, this is a nice, you know, complement to your learning of the deck if you're new to it, or if you are an experienced player, maybe understanding perhaps sequencing and mulligans and why potentially X and Y maybe didn't go your way. In these 2 games, I feel like we demonstrated that in a way or another. But next week, we we'll be continuing our A to Z legacy. And boy, do we have a fun one. Sarah's been putting some work in the background on it. I have been informed that I have to do a lot of clicking, but that's fine. Anyone who's seen our food chain videos know I am committed to the clicking. One other quick thing, I posted this sort of cryptically on Twitter, but on the 7th of June, so this is in next week, week Friday, I will be part of the Magic Online Early Creator Pass, and a bunch of legacy creators, because in the actual early access, it's just modern and draft leagues, but you can direct challenge, so a bunch of legacy creators are getting together, jamming a bunch of decks at each other and having the best time. So I am going to just jam a bunch of leagues. I'm going to ask for a load of lists. So if you have any lists that you want me to try, put them in the comments below. I will aim to go through them. And then the plan will be is that we will release some on the channel as a bit of a Brucey bonus. So expect a bunch of those videos to come through. I'm just basically going to post our matches of people playing decks. So that'll be a nice little fun thing for people to kind of have coming through in the next kind of couple of weeks. But our scheduled video will be our next A to Z, which will be a fun, spicy one. But yeah, after that, expect some cool videos coming out. It is just going to be me because Sarah's busy, so I'm going to be left by my own devices, Sarah. Woohoo!
Good luck.
Good luck. I'm going to be chatting to myself. It's going to be great. I'm just going to be talking. I'm going to get the cat in. Have the best time. But until next time, again, thank you so much. Like, share, and subscribe. Engage with the algorithmic gods. But it is a goodbye from me, and it is a goodbye from Sarah. Bye. Bye.